You're not indecisive. You've just never been given a process for making decisions. Think about it. We're taught how to solve math problems, how to write essays, how to follow recipes. But when it comes to the decisions that actually shape our lives, we're told to trust our gut and figure it out. Today, I'm going to give you the process no one ever taught you. Here's what I see over and over. Someone has a decision in front of them. Could be career related, relationship related, something that sounds small, but maybe feels heavy. And instead of moving through it, they circle it. They make pro and con lists. Maybe they ask 5 different people for their opinions. They wait for clarity that never comes. And the longer they circle, the heavier it gets. Not because the decision is actually that complicated, but because the decision itself was never clear to begin with. That's the part no one talks about. Most decision fatigue isn't caused by too many options. It's caused by an unclear question. So I built a method called STACK, 5 steps that move you from circling to choosing. The point is not to make perfect decisions. It's to make just clear ones. Because good decisions are not about having all of the answers. They're about having a process you can trust when the answers are incomplete. Let me walk you through it. S stands for surface the situation. And this is where most people skip ahead without even realizing it. When a decision feels heavy, our instinct is to jump straight to solving. But the actual decision, that thing you're really choosing between, it's often buried underneath reactions, assumptions, emotions. So this step is really just about getting honest. What's actually happening? Not what I'm afraid might happen, not what someone else thinks about it. What are the facts? And then the most important part, can you write the decision in one sentence? Starting with, do I? Let me give you an example. Say someone asks you to take on a new responsibility at work. Your gut reaction might be, I don't know how I can fit this in. But that's a reaction. That's not a decision. The decision is, do I accept this as asked, renegotiate the terms, or just decline it? See how different that feels? One is spinning. The other is something you can actually work with. So before you move on, make sure the decision can be written in one clear sentence. Once the decision is clear, you'll probably still feel stuck. And that's because there's tension. Something is pulling you in 2 directions at the same time. T is test the tension. And the key here is that tension, it's not a problem to eliminate, it's information. What is pulling you toward one option? Maybe, it might be wanting to seem reliable or wanting approval, maybe avoiding conflict. And then what's pulling you away? Maybe it's protecting your energy, staying aligned with what you already committed to, or maybe preventing burnout. Neither side is wrong. But until you name what is pulling you toward the decision and what's pulling you away from it, you're going to keep defaulting to whichever force is loudest. Either it be urgency, guilt, comfort, avoidance. Here's what matters. The tension you haven't named is often what keeps the decision looping. The moment you write it down, like what is pulling you in one direction and one that's taking you the other, that loop can then start to break. Now, if you're watching this and thinking, okay, I've never actually done this before, write it down. That's kind of the point here for us, right? Most of us, we've never been taught to slow down and then look at why a decision feels hard before actually trying to make that decision. Right? The next step is the one that usually changes everything. It's where people go from, I don't know what to do, to, oh, I think I actually do. A stands for align to what matters. And this is where the decision, it starts to narrow. Once you can see the tension, both that pull, to and away, you need an anchor. Without one, everything feels equally important. And when everything is equally important, nothing moves. So the question becomes, what does this decision need to support right now? Not forever, not in some ideal version of my life, right now, in this moment, in this season. It might, be you need to support your capacity, like the things that you're trying to do, maybe protect a relationship, maybe it's to preserve health or just your focus. And here's the discipline. Pick one. If you list 3 priorities, circle the one that must come first. Alignment works when something leads. Going back to, our example, if protecting your energy and not overloading yourself are the priority this season, the decision is to renegotiate or decline. Suddenly, it doesn't feel so selfish. It feels aligned. And aligned decisions are decisions that you can hold without second guessing. Once that alignment is clear, the next step becomes much easier. C is choose the clear next move. And notice I didn't say make the perfect choice. I said the clear next move. This is where the decision becomes real. You name 2 things, what you are choosing and what you're not choosing. That second part matters more than you think. Because an unchosen option that stays vague, it's going to stay active in your mind. Your brain is going to keep running it in the background, like some of those apps on your phone. And then you end up revisiting a decision that you already made. So be specific. In our example, it might sound something like this. I'm choosing to renegotiate the scope of this responsibility by Friday because it aligns with my priority of protecting my capacity. I'm choosing not to accept, this originally as asked. When the next move is named clearly, something shifts. You stop circling and you start moving. Your brain is no longer trying to keep the decision open. It can finally follow through. Now, the last step is K, keep the decision alive. And this is the one most people skip entirely. Here's the truth. Most decisions don't fall apart at the moment you choose. They unravel after. You start second guessing. You start wondering if, maybe that other option was a little bit better. Maybe someone's reaction makes you start doubting yourself. So before that happens, you need to decide in advance. What does follow through look like? When will I check in with this? And this part matters. What would actually justify changing my mind? Not discomfort, not someone being disappointed, an actual change in the situation. This is how decisions stick, not through willpower, but through structure. So that's stack, surface the situation, test the tension, align to what matters, choose the clear next move, and keep the decision alive. And if you want to actually work through this, not just hear about it, I built a workbook around this entire method. It has step-by-step prompts, guided reflections, a decision tracker even, to help you build this as a habit, not just a one-time exercise. I'll drop the link below. Now, I'm curious, what's one decision you've been circling? You don't have to share the details, maybe just drop the word circling in the comments if this video hits home for you today. And if you want more tools like this to help you get unstuck, subscribe, stick around. That's what this whole channel is all about.